Stephen King has said that every book you've ever read is in the room with you when you write. The Shining didn't come from nowhere. It came from a specific set of books. Books King had absorbed so deeply that they started bleeding through onto the page. This list is those books. And a few that will take you somewhere that The Shining couldn't. These aren't just books that feel similar to The Shining in tone or genre. Each one connects to a specific layer of what King was doing. The addiction allegory, the haunted space, the family under siege, the child who sees what adults suppress. And by the end of this video, I think you'll understand The Shining better than you did before you clicked this video. And you'll know exactly which book to pick up first. The Shining is operating on at least 3 levels simultaneously. On the surface, a haunted hotel story. Underneath that is a portrait of addiction and what it does to a family. And underneath that, a father's confession. Written by a man who couldn't yet admit he was confessing. The books on this list each illuminate one of those levels. Together, they give you the complete picture. The complete picture of what King built and why it still works 50 years later.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Book 1, The Haunting of Hill House. If The Shining had a direct literary ancestor, it is this one.
If I dream that you sent us away into the dark and me get hurt.
Shirley Jackson published The Haunting of Hill House in 1959, 18 years before The Shining. And King has cited it explicitly as one of the most important horror novels ever written. And he's right.
I have to die.
The connection is architectural. Both novels use a building as a psychological entity. Both ask whether the haunting is real, or whether the haunted space is externalizing something already broken. And the people inside it. The key difference? Jackson's Eleanor is not an addict. She's a lonely, repressed woman whose relationship with Hill House becomes something like love. The horror in Jackson is seduction. The horror in King is compulsion. Same mechanism. Completely different emotional register. King took Jackson's haunted architecture and he put an alcoholic inside of it. That one change transforms the allegory entirely. King said in Dance Macabre that Jackson's opening paragraph is the greatest opening paragraph in horror fiction.
No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even larks and katydids are supposed by some to dream. Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against the hills, holding darkness within. It had stood so for 80 years and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there walked alone.
It's worth reading for that paragraph alone. Book 2, The Turn of the Screw. This is the book that invented the ambiguity. The Shining depends on it. Henry James published The Turn of the Screw in 1898, and it has been generating arguments ever since. And we're going to talk about it in an upcoming video. And the argument is about whether the ghosts are real, or whether the governess narrator is losing her mind. The connection to The Shining is the central unresolved question. Is the Overlook genuinely supernatural? Or is Jack's deterioration entirely psychological?
Grady?
King never definitively resolves this.
Delbert Grady. That's right, sir.
And I don't think he had to, because James had already established that the ambiguity itself is the horror. The governess is the only one who sees the ghosts. The children may or may not be in danger. The reader is never certain.
Is someone there with you? He's back.
James figured out in 1898 that the scariest thing isn't the ghost. It's not being sure whether the ghost is real. King read that and built a hotel around it. It's a short book. You could read it in one sitting. The ambiguity hits harder that way. Book 3, Under the Volcano. This is the difficult recommendation. Not difficult the way The Painted Bird is difficult. Difficult in the way that it's dense and it's demanding. And it's worth every page. Under the Volcano is the greatest novel ever written about alcoholism. King has never cited it directly as an influence on The Shining, to my knowledge. And I'm recommending it anyway. Because once you read it, you cannot unsee what King was doing in his book. Malcolm Lowry published Under the Volcano in 1947. It follows Jeffrey Furman through a single day, the Day of the Dead, as he drinks himself toward destruction, all while his ex-wife and his brother watch helplessly. Jeffrey Furman is Jack Torrance. 20 years earlier, a man of genuine intelligence and genuine talent being systematically destroyed by alcohol. And he's fully aware of what he's doing, incapable of stopping, burning the love of the people closest to him as fuel for his own dissolution. The difference? Lowry was writing consciously about addiction. King was not. Lowry's counsel knows he's dying. King's Jack thinks he's recovering.
Well, that just happens to be exactly what I'm looking for. I'm
Read Under the Volcano, then reread the bar scene in The Shining. You know, where Jack meets Lloyd. You'll understand that Lloyd is simply Jeffrey Furman's next drink, given a face and given a name. Book 4, We Need to Talk About Kevin. And this one might surprise you. We Need to Talk About Kevin was published in 2003, 26 years after The Shining. So obviously King couldn't have read it when he wrote the novel.
Did you say mommy?
No.
Shouldn't he be told?
I'm recommending it because it completes the conversation that we've been having. The Shining starts, but doesn't finish. The Shining asks what Danny owes Jack. Whether a child is obligated to love a parent who is destroying him. We need to talk about Kevin asks the inverse. What a parent owes a child. Whether a parent's ambivalence towards a child creates the monster.
Just because you're used to something doesn't mean you like it.
King gave us the dangerous father. Shriver gave us the dangerous child.
You think I'm exaggerating?
Listen, buddy, it's easy to misunderstand.
Read them together. If you read them together, you have the complete portrait of what family violence actually looks like. From every angle, including the one nobody wants to occupy. It's a brutal book. It's a necessary book. And it's one of the best novels of the 21st century. In book 5, Dr. Sleep, because I'm ending where King ended, with his own sequel. This was published in 2013, 36 years after The Shining. And I want to tell you something most people don't know going in.
Talk to the kid.
Because it changes everything about how you read it. King wrote Dr. Sleep sober. He got sober in '87. He wrote The Shining in the depths of his addiction. Dr. Sleep is Danny Torrance as an adult, and Danny is an alcoholic.
I need you to listen to me. The world's a hungry place.
King took his own child character, the boy he'd written as the victim of his own addiction without knowing it, and he brought him back as a man fighting the same battle. Dr. Sleep is King making amends in his fiction. The Shining is what King wrote when he was Jack Torrance. And Dr. Sleep is what he wrote when he was Danny, the survivor, the one who got out, the one trying to be better. You need both books in order to understand either one fully. And you need to read them in order. The ending of Dr. Sleep in the novel, not the film, directly addresses the Overlook Hotel. And it does it in a way that closes the loop King opened in 1977. I'm not going to spoil it, but in my opinion, it's one of the most emotionally complete endings King has ever written. Precisely because he finally understood. And it's obvious. It's obvious what he'd been writing about all along. So those are the 5. My 5. You got The Haunting of Hill House, for where King's haunted architecture came from. We got The Turn of the Screw, for where his ambiguity came from. Under the Volcano, for what the addiction allegory looks like when it's conscious and deliberate. We need to talk about Kevin. For the conversation, The Shining starts, but doesn't quite finish. And then Dr. Sleep. For King completing his own argument 36 years later. All 5 are linked in the description through bookshop.org. If you haven't watched the full Shining breakdown yet that I made, that's the previous video on Eye. It covers why the Overlook is a metaphor for addiction. Why King hated Kubrick's adaptation. And what King discovered about himself when he got sober. I'll link it in the end screen, so go back and watch it. Do me a favor, subscribe, share. And next on Eye, we're going to get personal, because we're going to talk about a friend of mine. You could start looking him up now. His name's Richard Selzer. He's my mentor, the voice that still rattles when I disregard my readers. It'll make sense, I promise. Subscribe to Odd Eye, and I will see you next Tuesday.